Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of our Pathfinder Ultimate Guide series. In this episode, I will go through the failed ritual site, Topaz Solutions, Terabate Residence, and up here the Pitaxian Wine Cellar, and perhaps start on the Gray Garrison. With that being said, let's first move to the failed ritual site, which will take 30 hours, because we're moving in this little dashed line, which is of course where Discovery in the opening sequence tore the ground in pieces. We arrive at the Topaz Solutions at almost 9 p.m., the 18th of Aradis, and I just remembered we also have the tavern defense to do before we do the Grey Garrison itself. So episode 9 will not focus on the Grey Garrison, but instead on the tavern defense. Now though, as you can see, we are fatigued, so we want to rest. I recommend throwing either a quick save or a hard save in case you really want to max your chances of cooking or scribing any scrolls. So let's quickly assign our people here to the necessary positions. This is the best I could do. Draken is on protective rituals. Lan is on camouflage duty. Nightwatch is Seela and Camellia. Alchemy is Ember. She's gonna cook the seasoned wings and thighs again, because there's a lot of fighting ahead of us again. As for scrolls, perhaps we want to look into making a scroll of displacement. We have the necessary materials, so we might as well do it. Let's rest. Everything succeeds, corruption is weakened, chance of attack on camp is lowered, we get our cooking thing, and we also get a scroll of displacement. And upon your first rest on the world map, or anywhere you gain corruption really, you will get this event. And it doesn't really matter here, but let's just say nonsense. This is effectively just a little side quest or errand that introduces you to the corruption mechanic. More about that if we ever get it. I suppose we did a fantastic job with Draken, and we now have faster movement on the global map. Anyway, let's go into the Topaz Solutions. As you might hear in the background, this is an area where some eerie music is playing. That means this area has hard content. If we go into our inventory and go to the usable tab, this scroll right, if I can find the resist acid communal, or you can just search it, I suppose. Excuse me, where is it? Am I legally blind? There it is. Scroll of resist acid communal. In here you want to use this scroll right here, which we will do like so. I guess you really can't do it in here anymore. Let's just have it go to Nenio like so. Have it cast through Nenio. Also perhaps fix her bar a bit. And unpause the game. She cast resist acid communal. And if you can, clear out this room to the right first without engaging the room ahead. This fight becomes significantly easier. In here there are a few mimics, and through the little gap in the wall, which we will exploit momentarily, there's another mimic and this main alchemist here. This alchemist is a bastard to deal with, but if you can clear out this room first, you can place your ranged characters around here, and they can shoot through this wall, and the alchemist won't be able to hit them, which means they have to push through here. That also means that you can place your melee characters around here and have them just converge upon your positioning and focus on the alchemist first. The alchemist is your highest priority. If you had the extra money, you could perhaps buy a scroll of dispel magic to dispel the shield that he is gonna cast effectively immediately upon engaging in battle with him. Though we will now deal with these mimics here. It would appear that the entire fight has happened in once, since they are aggroed, as these guys couldn't get through the door. So we are in slight trouble. He's about to throw his alchemy potion, which is going to do a lot of damage probably. We actually get very lucky here. 8 minus 8, so none of our characters really suffer any damage, but we are affected with this acid bomb here, which can do more damage. He rolled quite low, as you can see. 3 plus 6 is up to 18 points, plus 5, so he rolled 3 ones and a 5, which is the worst roll he could do. I got very lucky with this fight, but on one of the mimics there's this crossbow here. If you had brought Darren instead, this crossbow would be quite good on him, since it inflicts the Oracle's curse, which is quite annoying to deal with, and Darren's curse is staggered, which means the enemy won't be able to move the first, or won't be able to attack the first 6 seconds upon getting hit by that crossbow. In this little thing here on the shelf, there is the fish on a stick recipe. Let's go into type ascending and newest to oldest, copy the recipe, and let's move on. We got quite fortunate with the acid potion here, so let's go to the area exit. Next stop is the Terabate residence, which we also have a tactic for. We arrive, it is 10 AM on the 19th of Aradus, so soon enough, if we go north again, we should get a random encounter that'll pull us back to the Defender's Heart in preparation for the attack on the Defender's Heart. Before any of that, let's go to the Terabate residence. This map is split up in 2 stages. One of them is this outside stage, and behind this little barrier here that you might be able to glimpse right here, that's a fence. There's a couple of enemies, and there's also an inside area, which we'll have to prepare for diligently. Remember, when you're met with Vermlix, make sure to target them first. And now we can enter this house here, the Terabate residence. Now then, let's go over buffing for this area here. First of all, we want to cast Protection from Alignment Communal. Why, you might ask? Because of this effect right here. Additionally, the Abjuration protects from attempts to dominate or charm, which an enemy that's behind here is perfectly capable of doing. However, it only affects male characters. So if your entire party consisted of females, which is in fact entirely impossible, because if you made your main character a female and brought a Windwalk instead of a Lan, you could have a full party of females which wouldn't be targeted by dominate or the rather charm, but would in fact be targeted from the dominate. Either way, let's cast this spell here and let's have it be evil communal. Like so. On Sealer, we perhaps want Divine Favor to be cast. We could cast Haste here, like so. With Nenio, have Draken cast Heroism on Lan, Blur on Sealer, Blur on Bucephalus, excuse me, thank you. Prepare a Blur on perhaps Rex, but that's unnecessary actually. Let's go with Bull Strength on Sealer, Barkskin on Bucephalus. We also want to bless this fight ahead of us. Now that we are fully buffed, we are ready to fight whatever lies ahead here. Let's take a look at this succubus then. 113 HP. She has Dominate Person, which is why we used the Protection from Evil. And she also has a fairly chunky AC of 26, but it'll increase. Damage reduction to good and cold iron by 10. And she's accompanied by 2 entranced fighters of various different HP levels, it would seem. However, with diligent preparation, including haste and all of these buffs, they stood no chance. We effectively had a bunch of different buffs, Bless, Bull Strength, Heroism, on our damage dealers and our tanks to avoid getting hit. And Lan's overall buffs to hit is quite high with Heroism and Bless as well. That also means we kill this succubus for 300 XP, and we gain a Cloak of Disguise that gives plus 3 competence bonus to stealth, but also is a regular cloak of resistance plus 1. Inside this little door panel here, there's some diamond dust, a fair bit of change, a bit of letters and books, and that wraps up Terabate's residence. The reason we used all of our buffs is because as soon as we move northwards, we will be interrupted, most likely anyway, by the random encounter that is scripted to bring us back to the Defender's Heart, and we can rest one more final time before the actual attack on the Defender's Heart occurs. So let's go to the area exit. If you can, try to make it to the market square first. The journey will take 6 hours. We are interrupted by a few Spider-Mans. We make it to the market square, so let's enter it. Since we're here, let's go up to this area where we built the makeshift bridge, like so. And this Canabra's Crusader right here, if you walk up to him, after I have done the Darren Arenday family house, we give the Aranka shawl to him, and he reveals himself as the last Desnan adept. We can persuade Hulwin to give up his excessive inquisition by revealing the light of heaven once more, and Hulwin and his little gang book us off again, and we can now complete this quest. Importantly, before we go anywhere else, we want to go up to the church. Don't worry if you're fatigued. As mentioned, we will soon be interrupted by the scripted encounter with a messenger saying that the Defender's Heart is under attack, and we can rest before the attack occurs. Upon entering the Destined Church, after saving all of the Destined Adepts, we can now talk to Ix, once our people have made it up here. And we can simply say, have a little dialogue with them. And here it's important that you select the chaotic option if you want a mythic path. So we'll sing the song after Aranka. Here's your last chance to get or to avoid doing this mythic path. Selecting option 3 will just stop the suspicious illusion. But since we want this mythic path, and since it's also the mythic path which we will select with our character here, we will just relax and take our time. They introduce themselves as Asatas. Pause and read at your own speed. If we say, I wish I could stay here forever, an option good requires Asata Mythic Pass. Yes, I really want to appears. We can tell them about our vision, and we finally complete the Starward Gaze quest. Gain around 500 experience and a wand of Remove Disease. Quite a nice reward as well. With that, the marketplace is done, at least until the Defender's Heart repelling is complete, because we want to return to this area for optional bosses and encounters. I will feature those in a bonus clip or episode at the end of episode 9, I think. If possible, we can actually try to make it to the Pataxian wine cellar. Surprisingly, we managed to make it. It is 10 p.m. the 19th of Aradis, so we can complete the entire map before the Defender's Heart even fires, which is very lucky. It is oftentimes usual that if you follow this guide anyway, step by step, that you will encounter them or the scripted encounter around here or here on your way back from the market square, which will send you back to the Defender's Heart immediately. You can, of course, choose to avoid it, which I highly do not recommend you doing. For now though, let's enter the Pataxian wine cellar. In here there are a few annoying enemies, as they can level drain you. If you can buy a few scrolls of Death Ward, do so at your own discretion. However, they are rather expensive, and I believe there's only actually one enemy in here that has the ability to drain you. So if you focus on him, especially if you're level 5, it is highly possible to do this encounter without getting drained. The enemy in question is this white here, not the can right next to him, as they have the energy drain ability. It would appear I am wrong, as even the can rights also have the energy drain ability. We get an icebreaker battle axe, quite a fair damage output upon a critical hit. Back here there's also an orc double axe behind a perception check. If you were overweight like I was, just drop, or rather, go into your inventory and sort by weight in descending order and drop just a bit until you're no longer encumbered. If you are in the Defender's Heart after you've been sent back from the messenger, you can talk to Vasily and tell him about your nightmares when you first rest outside the Defender's Heart for a fair bit of experience. If you check your journal once more, we also want to tell Erebeth about the victory in the Tower of Estrid, and we also want to inform Erebeth that the troops are ready for the Defender's Heart battle. Since we're here, we also want to show the diary from Kaelessa to Fawn back here again. After getting a bit of experience from Fawn, you can head back to Erebeth and inform her of the different things. Make sure that you actually have to do once you're here, you can start the Defender's Heart fight. Let's go over the Defender's Heart fight then. Enemies will come from this gate here, this ladder here, this ladder right here, and this gate over here. You want to focus on the alchemists in orange suits, and at some point a minotaur will appear right here. If you just laser focus the alchemist and the minotaur when they appear, everything else on the field will not matter. The Defender's Heart fight is scripted to end upon you killing all the alchemists and the Minotaur. As you can see up here, there are 12 tavern defenses. There's an achievement linked to keeping all of these tavern defenses alive, which is possible if you either throw a couple of greases in either these gates or just focus on the alchemists. Here's the first wave of alchemists. As you can see, there are two people in orange right here and right here, and soon enough there will also appear one from here as well, and I believe the only other people are going to come from the gates as well. So keep either Lan or Windu over here at some point in preparation for the alchemist spawning here. Lan should be able to reach them from down here, so just position them around here where Jorn Wayne once stood. There's the alchemist from the ladder, let's focus him. The alchemist from the ladder goes down. At some point you will see this cutscene, which indicates that there are more people coming from all around the place. So keep that in mind. If at all possible, focus on these stretches when they appear and also the shears. There's a second wave of alchemists right here, there's one there. Here's a third wave of alchemists, there's two more. And at some point you will have two alchemists appear and the Minotaur from the right gate. As soon as this happens, divert your enemy or your forces over there. And if you were lucky or did everything well, you will complete the fight without losing any of the tavern defenses. You gain a bunch of experience, and if you did the Through the Ashes DLC before completing this quest, you will also receive a little bonus rod here. I won't use it, but it's there. We also get a heavy flail of weakness after we inform Erebeth of the attack on Tower of Estrid has been dealt with. We gain more experience. Don't click this button unless you've done absolutely everything in Act 1, including all the locations and the tavern defense. You can click it before, however, you will lose the opportunity to complete any associated quests in Act 1. Surprisingly, we actually reach level 6 before even dealing with the Gray Garrison, which is a very good position to be in. You might wonder where this man came from, but he is related to a DLC, and as this is primarily a guide focusing on the base game, I will keep him away from the front lines anyway. I will just have him be there as a character. I suppose to kill some time, we could complete level 6 as well. First of all is our Bard Draken. Let's get Bard Dirge Bard 6. And finally, we get a nice ability here, Fascinate. Each creature within range receives a will save DC plus 10, plus half the bard's level, which is 6 right now, so 3, so 13, plus the bard's charisma modifier. If a creature's saving throw succeeds, the bard cannot attempt to fascinate that creature again for 24 hours. If its saving throw fails, however, the creature stands quietly and observes the performance for as long as the bard continues to maintain it. Any damage to the target automatically breaks the effect. So upon them failing the check here, they will just stand there and wait till they get slapped in the face, basically. There's a better version of that ability right here. A bard of 8th level or higher can use his performance to foster a sense of growing dread in his enemies, causing them to become shaken so they get feared. To be affected, an enemy must be within 30 feet and be able to hear the bard's performance. The effect persists as long as they are in 30 feet. And finally, there's also another version at 14th level. It becomes even better. If the save fails, the target becomes frightened, so they leave or they run and flees as long as the target can hear the bard's performance. And if you were to put 20 levels in bard, or dirge bard specifically, you will get this here deadly performance. If a creature's saving throw succeeds, the target is staggered, so they just stand there, can't either move or act for between 6 to 24 seconds, and the bard cannot use blah 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 blah. If a bard creature's or if a creature's saving throw fails, it dies. So it immediately just dies like that. Poof, dead. But that's long, long in the future. Let's go back to level 6 then. Skills will be knowledge and lore. My feat will be combat trick and dazzling display. This is effectively a prerequisite for this feat right here, shattered defenses. Any shaken or frightened opponent hit by you this round is flat-footed, so their AC is terrible until the end of your next turn. Furthermore, whenever you reduce an enemy to 0 or fewer hit points, you can make a persuasion to intimidate check to demoralize all enemies within 30 feet as a free action, which means it just happens in the background. To demoralize all enemies within 30 feet. Enemies that cannot see both you and the enemy you reduce to 0 or fewer hit points are unaffected. So you can demoralize upon killing enemies as well, which will just have them stand there effectively. This entire build is focused on the enemy being completely subdued into just either standing there being sick or just fleeing in terror upon either you killing them or upon you entering into their field of vision. As for Draken's 2nd level spell here, I will select Mirror Image. It has a couple of nice benefits, but the bonus here is 1d4 images, plus more per caster level. These images remain in your space and move with you, mimicking your movement, sounds, and action exactly. Whenever you are attacked or a target of the spell requires an attack roll, there's a possibility that the attack targets one of your images instead. So it's basically a way of avoiding damage. With that, let's complete Draken's level up. Next up, we can do Woolgif. Another level goes into Alchemist Vivisectionist, like so. We get a bit of poison resistance, not really that useful, but more importantly, we get something called Medical Discovery. More about that just in a moment. You know the deal: mobility, trickery, stealth, perception, and use magic device. Here's the Medical Discovery screen. A lot of different good things can be acquired from this screen, such as Feral Mutagen, which is a bite attack, or rather a claw attack, which is also a prerequisite for +3 dodge AC with feral wings here. But what I will take right now though is the infusion. medical discovery. This allows his alchemy spells, which he will gain quite a lot of. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 16, which is level 6 spells right here, to be used on everyone, not just himself. Which means we can buff our guys with shield as well, and any other spells he will gain. Let's complete Woljiv's level up to level 6. Next is Nenio. Since we already learned displacement from a scroll, we can get Blur and Magic Weapon Greater on Nenio as a level 6 spells, or level 3 spells rather, excuse me. Also level up her knowledge and lore skills as well. As for Ember's level up, 2 points into lore religion and 1 point into use magic device, like so. As for her hex, protective luck is always nice to have on multiple characters, like so. Something like delay poison communal is a nice pickup for a spontaneous caster. Now Lan becomes exceptionally strong because he gets another level of +2 to all of the demons, which means it's now a +4 to every single demon type in the game. As for his skills, athletics, mobility, low nature, and perception. Camellia's level 2 or level 6 is rather boring. Triggery, perception, blammo, done. She also gets cure moderate wounds as a special ability. As for Seela, knowledge world, perception, magic device. Her mercy, I would prefer diseased, staggered, or even shaken. It doesn't really matter too much. I will pick disease, because I can now remove disease with her lay on hands ability. Let's also go over Darren's levels. He joins us at level 3, so there's quite a lot of things to do here. Let's do it one by one. His skill points are quite simple: Arcana, World, Persuasion. As you can see, Persuasion is quite high. Another option is Perception as well, but he'll never really be too good at it. As for spells with Oracles, Bone Shaker, Aid, Animate Dead, any of the stat boosting spells as per usual, perhaps Protection from Alignment, the remove paralysis as well. I think I will go with some Animate Dead. If you want to put Darren on a pet of some sort and have him wield dual rapiers, Weapon Finesse is the way, but since I'll just use him as a heal bot, something like Extra Channel or Shake It Off to help him avoid or increase saving throws if you plan on taking Shake It Off on multiple characters, which I do. However, I will select Heightened Spell. As for spells, for level 1, Magic Weapon. For level 2, you could go any of the stat boosting spells as per usual. You could go Aid. You could go Effort, that's not the one, sorry. That's on someone else. Protection from Alignment is also good, especially because Darren's a spontaneous caster. But for now, let's complete level 5 Metamagic Heightened Spell, and these are his new spells. Now here's some truly tough choices. One of them, Archon's Aura, amazing spell. If the creature fails, it takes a -2 penalty on attack and saving throws, and to armor class for the duration of this spell. Animate Dead proper, as we've already covered. Delay Poison. Prayer is exceptionally good. Resist Energy. I will go for Prayer. This gains a +1 luck bonus on attack, weapon damage, saves, and skill checks, while each of your foes takes a -1 penalty on such rolls. So we get buffed, and the enemy gets debuffed. Amazing spell. With that, all the level ups are covered, except Ulbrig, which is a DLC-specific companion, which I will not cover in this guide. Remember, we want to keep our pets underleveled, at least until we get one version of an intelligence band. Put that on them, and then we can max them out. If you don't want to do that, simply increase int by 1 on them both, and then go crazy with whatever feats you want. Options include for your offensive pet, you could go into combat reflexes and tandem trip and outflank. And for your defensive pets, you can go into crane style, crane wing, outflank in that order. I can theoretically put this on you to just have that on you if I want to use you. This video will be a shorter one, but it's in preparation for the Gray Garrison attack in episode 10, which will end off Act 1. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye for now.